Let's get together. Stop all this fussing and fighting. Let's love one another. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your brothers, help your sisters, help your neighbors and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Everybody, y'all. One people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good afternoon. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to this little impromptu chit chat, so to speak, because we have lots of things we want to talk to you guys about, uh, specifically about what's happening there in Guyana and about the dorm situation, that horrific fire. And what we are seeing publicly is something that we all must speak out. We just cannot remain silent. A lot of people say, or some folks, we know who they are, would say that this is a mourning period. Let's not politicize stuff. Fair enough. Let's not politicize but do we, when do we decide on what to politicize and not to politicize? When the PPP says that? The PPP says that we should mourn for 3 days and we should just drop everything and mourn because the PPP is saying we should do this and we should do that, something that they have created. And again, we cannot run away from the fact that the PPP is criminally negligent as it pertains to that dorm fire. They cannot run away. They cannot escape. They should not be able to uh, pull themselves out of this here at all. They shouldn't, and we shouldn't allow them to do that. Hence my reason for coming here this, we're still in the afternoon, right? To talk with you and to discuss matters. And even while we are all in mourning, and as I have indicated prior to this whole incident, that Guyana has been in mourning since August 1st, 2020. Since August 1st, 2020, we have been in mourning and we continue to mourn what is happening in Guyana. A total disaster from August 1st to now. Total disaster. So let's not run away from that. What else it is that we can talk about? I want to see what's on your minds. I know a lot of you have been talking. And let me just take the time out to acknowledge all of you, be able to call all the names and so forth. The folks out in New Amsterdam, good morning to you guys, or good afternoon. The folks out on the quarantine, they need leadership. They're calling for leadership. They're calling for all manner of things. They don't want individuals to just do a quick drive by, take photographs and rush out of there. They don't. They just don't want these sort of things. And I was chatting with some of them in a group this morning, and people throughout the country are talking about this. What we are lacking right now in Guyana is a leadership crisis. There's no one that can come out, that can have a press conference and talk to the nation and calm the nation down. The entire nation, all Guyanese right now are traumatized. All Guyanese. And it's not easy, and we need to get out of this situation. Who is going to get us out of this situation? That's the question. Who is going to get us out of this situation? We cannot depend on these criminals in office. You want to depend on this guy to get us out of this situation when it is these guys who got us into this situation? Who are we going to turn to? We need leadership at this point in time. Real leadership, not photo op leaders, make believe leaders. We need real leaders, mind you, leaders who understand the ground, who understand the plight of the people. That is what we need. We can't turn to this guy for leadership. This guy is not about running a country for the betterment of all Guyanese. It's all about a hustle and swarming people. Just imagine, according to information again, that these folks decided to get all of these young people, took them out of the hospital, dragged them out of the hospital, and instead of returning them to their parents, their loved ones, they decided to hurry them over to the Humana Yana, put them in the front row, just out of the hospital with their hospital bands, give them a little orange juice, all because what the PPP wanted out of this whole thing is a photo op. So help me, God. What sort of human being would do something like this? Let us take, for example, this woman that's sitting there that is appears to be skin in her teeth. Um, Whatever Waldron is her name, Onage Waldron. Just imagine that, and I'm not saying that things should be because of whose kids are. Just imagine she's a mother. She should understand these things. The kids just out of the hospital. Why rush them out of a hospital? Were they actually rushed out? You can't tell me that they're there for a couple hours, maybe a day or two or whatever, and then you have them in there, and because you're having this function that you want to score political points, you decided that that you're going to take them to this function because it serves your purpose, the PPP's purpose. And these are the people who say, let's not play politics. But when you look at what they have been doing, what do you guys think they have been doing all along? They have been playing politics. Silly, insensitive, dotish politics. That is what they have been playing. And they want us to pretend as though. They want us to drop every single thing, put our hands up and say, oh, let us put our political differences aside. This is not about politics. This is about a tragedy that happened as a result of the PPP's negligence, mind you. So let's not run away from that. And so we must be the silly ones, drop everything and join them, the PPP, who actually caused this problem. This situation could have been prevented. But because of the negligence of the PPP, we are here where we are today. And so back to these, and I'm actually reading some of your comments as well. And again, I welcome all of you, under the circumstances. So now you grab these kids out of the hospital. You ensure you got all of the cameras in front of their faces. And then you ensure that you stoop down because you know that the camera, Onage Waldron, she knows that the camera is there. And you got to be careful, these camera personalities, these camera politicians who only go by cameras and take pictures and post it all over Facebook. Camera individuals, be mindful of those. And so she knew that the camera was on her. She doesn't care about the state of mind. You don't have to be a doctor to understand. We're human beings, God damn it. Sorry that I have to use that word, God damn it. But we're human beings. Have some compassion. This woman is supposed to be a mother. Well, not supposed, she is a mother. Would she like if this was the reverse? God forbid, nobody's calling things on people's kids. But let us say if it was the reverse, that these were her kids. Would she feel comfortable of politicians taking them out there for a photo op, playing politics with them? Would she have felt comfortable as a result of that? Would she? I am almost certain that the parents or guardians of these young girls were not notified. They were not asked. Permission was not given. These are minors. get permission from the parents or their guardians. This, what they have done here, is a crime. It's just like, there's a incident in the wherever it is, and you see that there's an incident, whether it's the US or wherever, and you as a parent, you're sitting on TV and you're seeing your kids at the White House or somewhere, at the governor's mansion, at the mayor's mansion, wherever, and you're sitting at home and you're looking and you say, wait, what's happening here? Parents should be treated with respect. These kids are minors. Call the parents. Again, not to keep repeating myself, I'm almost certain that the parents were not, or guardians were not, notified. This is because they feel, because of these kids, and I go back to ethnicity. It is that these kids are from the interior. Oh, the parents, all manner of stereotype stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. Right, Francine? Good to see that they let you out. Margaret and all of you guys. Fazina, good day. Shelley Douglas, all of you guys, good morning. All right, I keep saying morning. Shame and disgrace to these PPP people. Now let's get to a situation that I want to talk about. Let's get to that situation. And I say good day to all the folks out in Madhya. Madhya, beautiful tongue. Look at Madhya under the coalition. For 23 years, the PPP ignored this little town, ignored this little place. But under the coalition, the coalition knew that there are human beings living in Guyana and everyone should be treated equally. One people, one nation, one destiny. Not no fraud, one Guyana crap. This is Madhya under the coalition. And look at this. Look at it. Beautiful town. If you haven't gone there, maybe you should visit. I was there, I think, maybe once or twice. Beautiful town. Young people were neglected under the PPP for 23 years. The tongue was neglected by the PPP for 23 years. They didn't give a damn. The coalition got into office. They were able to have buses to take the kids back to school and back from school. Buses, free transportation. All of these things were taken away when the PPP got installed August 1st, 2020. All transportation taken away. So a lot of those kids who were rammed into that small building didn't need to be there. They could have been driven to school and back home. But no, they are there. They were placed there, compliments of a short-sighted, a vindictive regime. And that's exactly what has happened. But we will get to that shortly. Sudari, thank you. Sudari is reminding us that it's 26 years. Yes, it's 26 years. Charlene is saying 50, what is it? 64 kids in a small place. 64 kids. 64 kids. Gosh, 64, I repeat, 64 kids, and they don't want to talk about these things. 64 kids. 64 kids in that small place. 64 kids. And now they are going to jump up now on the stage and they're going to want to say to us that, look, here what happened. Here what happened. Let's put the blame now. The blame game, which is what the PPPC is doing. The blame game. And so the blame game has started. They want to remove themselves from that completely. They want to remove themselves completely from that and basically want to swar the populace, so to speak, into saying that this fire was as a result of some little girl. We haven't heard from the little girl as yet. We don't know if the little girl has a lawyer. We need to find out her story. Sorry about that. Just responding to some quick messages. Yep, sorry about that, guys. So we don't know. We don't know what is happening. We don't know, and I'll, this is said to be the little girl. Had to cover her face, of course. She's underage. We don't know. So we cannot just run with what the PPP has packaged and put out there for us to consume. We already know how vindictive, how deceitful, and criminal the PPP is. And therefore, we just cannot run away. They packaged it, send it out there, and we must just buy it like that and forget about it. And we must say that this little girl, if it is correct, that she started this fire and the entire place burned down and 19 persons were burnt to death. And we should all focus on this little girl and call her all manner of names. She's a culprit. She did this. She wanted to get back her phone because of some man and all these sort of things. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't know whether this story is accurate or not. Whether an independent investigation was conducted for us all to conclude and say, okay, there was a proper investigations conducted and this is what happened. If in fact this story is correct, that this little girl got angry, allegedly over some man, and allegedly burned the place down, we need to hear from her. Maybe she has another side to this story that we are not hearing. Maybe. And here is where legal representation comes in. She needs to be seen by a lawyer. She needs to be properly interviewed in the presence of her parents, her guardians, and so forth. And just maybe she will have a different story. Now, I don't want to sit here and come up with different scenarios or what may have happened, whether the matron or somebody was there smoking a cigarette and they put on the cigarette and this could all be the story, but we don't know. Again, all I'm saying is we've got to be very cautious at this stage into believing what the PPP has packaged and want us to run away with and sell it and say, oh, this is what story done. What about the overcrowded building? 64 plus persons there. What about the keys cannot be found? All sort of stories they're going to make up now to make it look like this is the truth. And all of the blame, bagfuls upon bagfuls of blame, they're tossing it on this little girl. If all these people knew within the regime that, and in Guyana, you got to think she was Tekin Man. Because that's the going thing, and everybody know who Tekin Man and who ain't Tekin Man. All right, she's 17 years old, according to information. 17-year-old. Have a boyfriend, maybe a man, whatever. At the end of the day, all of these things should be investigated. Was it over a phone? Was it over a man? What was it about? Was it really her? All of these things are questions that we should be asking. Again, I don't want to sit and read something coming from a PPP propaganda media house or from Jack Day, or by the way, Jack Day is still quiet for obvious reasons, but from Irfan Ali or from Priya telling us, or from the acting fire chief. I don't want to hear just from them. There must be an independent investigation into this matter. What happened? What really transpired? Where was the security? Someone that taxpayers are paying for to be there. Where was the security? Who took the phone? What was the real reason for taking the phone? When was this phone taken? Was there any other threat from maybe other students? I don't know. And I don't want to dig deeper into this whole thing to signal any insensitivity on my part, because 19 lives were lost. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is that we've got to have a proper investigation. We need to get to the bottom of this. And getting to the bottom of this, we can only conduct. It can only be through a proper investigation. And once there is a proper investigation, you will find that lots of folks will be culpable. The Ministry of Education, the RDC, the matron, the security guard. And of course, if it's correct that this young lady started that fire, I hope you by now you guys get my point, right? I hope you get my point. And so the regime has decided that this is what they are going to do. The Madhya tragedy, DNA samples being sent to New York. Bodies should be identified by Friday. Meanwhile, about 5 or 6 or so, 13 samples are going to be sent to, or have already been sent to Mount Sinai Hospital. And now this was quick. This was sudden. This was quick. It was sudden. And I'll tell you guys this. The regime now has money to spend on almost everything. But a request was made for upgrading. A request was made to upgrade the dorm, but yet they would not have spent any money for that. They would not have spent that because they never give a damn about those kids. Now, suddenly they are pretending with their crocodile tears that these kids mean the world to them because they now see an opportunity to fraud again. You see him there, that they're praying, that they love those kids, when in fact they are responsible for what has happened. If the girl scratched a match or whatever she did, allegedly, then if there were proper exit points and probably fire extinguisher and maybe some other stuff there, quite possibly the death toll would have been at a minimum, if at all any. People would have been able to run out, those who were sleeping, some alarm and these different things. But again, I go back and I'm saying that this little girl that they're accusing should not be the only one that is responsible. She should not. The government or the regime needs to take responsibility. In any other part of the world, guess what? The country would have been shut down by now. Mass protest. All the bridges from Borby's Bridge to Linden Bridge to Demerara Harbor Bridge to every single thing would have been shut down in that country right now. And heads would have had to roll. Ministers would have had to resign. Officials would have had to resign. Possibly the installed president would have had to resign as well. New elections, all manner of things. We see these things all over the world, but not in Guyana. I bet there might be some saying out there right now, Benchab, don't shut him out and let them people mourn. Oftentimes you hear that from some of the silly folks who can't think. Now, back to this, you're spending millions of dollars because Mount Sinai is not going to do this for free, you know. Mount Sinai is not going to do it for free. But suddenly the PPP get money for pull out a pocket, pull out from their socks, all over taxpayers' money to send it off. Suddenly they get money to spend, but they're not spending money on the schools, upgrade the labs, upgrade the computer labs, upgrade the home economics department, upgrade the agriculture section of the schools and so forth. They're not going to do that. But they get money to hire planes to rush into Madhya, millions of dollars. And I'm sure that this is going to run Guyanese taxpayers in hundreds of, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. But suddenly we're hearing Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is going to do it. Mount Sinai Hospital is going to do it. Do you think they're going to do it for free? Absolutely not. It's not for free. But of course, yes, the family members should be able to recognize their loved ones and to give their loved ones a respectful send-off. So I'm not knocking at the fact that there will be samples and in order to identify, because the loved ones have to know. But my point is the fact that suddenly, the millions upon millions, and you see when they're done, is over $500 million would be spent just for PPP propaganda, just for political mileage that they're gaining from this tragedy. But they would not have spent not even 1/5 of that to repair and expand the dorms and ensure that the kids get proper meals at the end of the day and so forth. They weren't going to do that. This is political damage control on the part of the PPP. Political damage control. Now let's touch on this guy here. They have wrecked Guyana inside out, destroyed Guyana, lied to Guyana. All these manner of things they have done. Every single thing they have done. Every single thing. Yep, sorry about that. Every single thing they have done. No unity, no nothing. Shot people, persecuted people, charged people wrongfully, handcuffed people, shackled people, a bunch of Trump charges against people. Some of these charges are still languishing at the courthouse. Nothing at all. Look at what they have done. They have terminated the services of over 3,000 public servants. No unity, no talking, no nothing. To hell with the opposition, disregard the opposition. And that he is not going to meet with the opposition only if the opposition and when the opposition recognize them as a legitimate government. The arrogance all the time, every day we see it. Arrogance upon arrogance upon arrogance upon arrogance for what only God knows. But now, sorry about that. But now, he sends a letter, according to information, and you guys, I'm going to look at your comments for this. He sends a letter, according to a source, to the leader of the opposition, Aubrey. He sends a letter to Aubrey. That they all should go to Madhya together, hold hands, hug Mati, and cry together. Again, please, you guys know that I'm not an insensitive person, and I don't have to spell it out. This is not me being insensitive here at all. But I just want to lay it out there for you guys, so you guys, I could look at some of your comments and tell me. Now, this little boy on the page there, Irfan, Suddenly he wants to meet with the opposition. Again, because all the cameras would be there, international media houses, folks, I assume, would be there as well. And so he now is seeing big political mileage for himself. Decides now he's going to send a letter to Arbery, inviting Arbery to go to Madhya with him, along with members of the diplomatic corps. All of them together, one big family, this dotishness with him about one Guyana. And that is all his agenda is. That is what he's about. So Arbery, decided now that he's going to send three members of parliament. Listen to this. This is no joke, but this is how the PPP is playing politics. But yet they don't want politics to be played. But let's break this down. Or Arbery decided to send, from my source, Member of Parliament, Miss Coretta McDonald. My information says that Coretta McDonald, Member of Parliament, doesn't want to under that arrangement and prefers that they go, and this is my suggestion now, she just doesn't want to go because she understands the backlash in cozying up to the PPP, the Irfan Ali. And they're not being insensitive. They want to be there on the ground. But the likes of Jerry Govai and them don't want to give them air transportation to go there. It's always booked and they can't make it. But suddenly, if they accept this letter from Irfan Ali, then all of them going to go there as one big family, hug and kiss up, and cry together and so forth, only because it suits the agenda, the political agenda of this little rascal. So Coretta, from my understanding, doesn't want to go under those circumstances. In my opinion, all of them should be there, but not to hold hands with Irfan Ali to show any unity. There's no unity under the PPP in Guyana. None whatsoever. People are being discriminated against. Proper laws can't pass in Parliament. There's no democracy in Parliament, no freedom of speech in Parliament, and so forth. And so if my information is accurate that Coretta McDonald is reluctant to go, well, then I say kudos to Member of Parliament Coretta McDonald. Then I'm hearing also that the Honorable General Secretary of the party, she has already extended condolences and so forth, and she spoke, and was very emotional even when she was on yesterday morning, that she also is uncomfortable being there with Irfan Ali. That's just my take. My source is saying that. And again, rightly so. Now is not the time to hold Irfan's hand because Irfan feels that now is the time. What the coalition should do, and again, kudos to Coretta and kudos to Don, the Honorable MP Coretta McDonald and the Honorable MP and General Secretary Miss Dawn Hastings Williams. Now let me see some of your comments on what is being said here now, on whether they should go, whether they should join. And I heard that there's another one by the name of Holder, who's the chairman of the PNC reform. He's the chairman of the PNC reform. I heard that somebody doesn't want to go because somebody said and maybe rightly so, somebody got diarrhea. They don't want to go. Whoever it is, if it's Holder, I don't know. But I'm reading your comments. And let me see what some of you are saying here. Vashti is saying, sad for all of us. Yep. Carl Miller is saying, who wants to be seen with presidents? All of these things. Rita Clark is saying she must not go. They must not go. Brenda Casey is saying, Mark, it's another trick. Of course, it's air fraud. It's another trick. Wayne Caesar is saying now he's looking to engage the opposition. I got you there. Um, Rakesh Singh. Rakesh Singh. I don't know who Rakesh Singh cussing. He said this should be in effing jail. I don't know who. Maybe he's talking about Irfan. Maybe he's talking. I don't know. Um, it's Rakesh. Hi, Rakesh. Um, CC Forbes and almost all of you guys are saying that they should not go. I agree with you guys that they should not go. I spoke with Aubrey Norton, the leader of the opposition, about heading to Madhya. Aubrey did indicate that they should be in Madhya today. And I asked, why haven't you guys been in Madhya? Hours after this incident happened, then of course, air, suddenly no planes available. Suddenly no planes available, but Jerry Govai and them in and out, probably making hundreds of millions of dollars off of this. But I hope the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, and members, serious members of the coalition, comprising of the General Secretary, the Mr. Roysdale Ford, who for some reason is being shut out of press conferences and all. Talk about that some other time. But these are individuals, serious-minded individuals, should be there on the ground with the people, to talk to the people, to let the people know. And I know there are some lower-level party people who are there. And I say lower level not to insult, but we need to see those in the hierarchy, the leadership, the general secretary. We need to see Roysdale Ford there as well. We need to see Coretta Mac. We need to see serious-minded individuals, not photo op individuals, serious-minded individual to be there from a party standpoint. We need to see that on the ground to show your presence there. And you don't necessarily have to be there holding hands with Irfan Ali because it suits his purpose. What else is it that you guys are saying? Let me look. I'm looking at some of your comments. Denise Booker say, Mark, that's a fraud. Well, of course. Afraz Osman, make sure 19 MP don't go. The fraudulent Ali photo op, you know. A lot of you guys, or all of you guys, Vincent Adams saying, too late. Evan Bruce saying, they must not go. Simone Blackman, same thing. Trickery, Winston Henry, same thing. Rhonda Lane, good morning to you, Rhonda. David Fernandez is saying, Ali, get a gold mine now. Onika Light is saying, yes, big PNC, Diane Bourne, all of you, Emily Durant, they have buses. I know that, Emily. If I were an MP, and I would have jumped on the bus and I would have done reach already. I went to Madhya with bus before, right? And the bus was fun. You sit and you just watch and you take photographs. So I got you. You can go with bus. Looking at some of your comments. Hi, Hazel Agard. How are you? Michelle Lampkin. A lot of you guys, Desiree Simons, a lot of you guys are actually shocked that Irfan would be so brave. And just watch out for Irfan. Watch out for Irfan. He's going to go on social media and he is going to cry the crocodile tears. And he's going to say that at this time, the opposition doesn't want to, and they don't believe. No, all that BS. Just watch out for him and the BS. Watch out for him and the BS. And we should remind them as to how they're using these young people for political purpose. That's precisely what they are up to. Look, I spent my I promised that I was going to be for half hour. For half hour. Suresh Prasad. Hey, Suresh, how are you? Long time. Suresh Prasad is saying here, if they go to the world, we'll blame them too. Let Ali get all of the blame. I agree with you, Suresh. Let Ali get all of the blame. Shoy Gibson is saying the opposition does not need to go, and that trip does MPs need to, obviously. The opposition should be there on the ground. MPs should have been there already on the ground. Not for just a quick photo up and put 101 photographs on their page. No, that's not politics. We already know who does that. But serious-minded people should be there to talk to the people. Take some experts within the party, some doctors. If they have psychiatrists or psychologists that are part membership of the party, take a couple of people in so that you don't necessarily have to talk directly to the victims. You could talk to people within the community who themselves are traumatized. You can talk to other kids who have friends who have died. Like, for example, Civic was talking yesterday, his grandchildren knew some of the girls who died. They also are traumatized. So take in about 20, 25 persons, go into the community and start that healing process. The healing process of the community doesn't start with Irfan Ali. Irfan Ali and his band of criminals are the proximate cause for all of this that we're seeing right now. That's all I wish to say for now. It's 12 minutes after 2. I'll see you guys later on this evening. Same place, 107.1 FM. But watch out, please. Watch out for the lies. Watch out for the crocodile tears coming from Irfan Ali and the PPP. They will start with that very, very soon. Don't be surprised. So we just thought that we let you guys know that is what they're planning. The crocodile tears they're planning. You know, I see here Tan Timor. Well, they're already at the Humana Yana, and Irfan Ali is hugging one of the little girls there that they dragged out of the hospital. I don't know. This is sad to watch, but it's even more sad to see how the PPP, Irfan Ali and Onage Waldron, they're so insensitive at this point in time. They look what they did. The evidence is there. They dragged these kids out of the hospital for a photo op. But I've got to go, man. I got to go. Continue to pray for Guyana. The entire Guyana is mourning. We have been mourning since August 1st, 2020. See you guys later this evening. But watch out for Irfan Ali and his lies. Watch out. But the opposition should have been on the ground already. That's where we want to see them. The leader of the opposition and members of parliament, again, serious-minded individuals need to be on the ground. Not those who take 101 photographs and selfies. And we don't selfie politics. People need proper representation. And those who take selfies and walk by and think that is campaigning, they got to stop with that. I'll see you guys later on this evening. God bless you.
We were separated. Now we are freer. That's the way it should be. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your sister, help your brothers, help your neighbors, and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Yeah, yeah. One people, one nation, one destiny. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo. Dude like this, reggae's another day, y'all. Move, y'all. Uh-huh. In the olden days, we were separated. Now we are free, yeah. That's the way it should be. You gotta help your mother, help your father, help your sister, help your brothers, help your neighbors, and your friends. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. Sing my song, yeah. One